Have you ever thought about your internal balance, your flow state? And once you're in that flow state, how you can actually stay there and not get thrown out of it. Today, I'll be talking to you about your internal balance, your vibrational flow state. And it's not a matter of being static in the highs or the lows. It's about knowing how to flow through it, but from a graceful, energetical point of view. And at the same time, it's you being able to nurture your soul and understand what it actually needs. Having that vibrational balance is really important, because understanding when you're at the low points and when you're at the high points and what those two actually mean. To explain the flow state in a little bit more detail, I'm going to use this example here. Now, your flow state might look like a figure of 8, but for some it might look like the infinity symbol. Either one is fine. But it's about understanding that once you're there, whether you're there or here, it's about understanding how to balance your vibration, your frequency, so that you can glide through it gracefully. Now, for me, the infinity symbol represents the rhythm of a continuous flow state. And it's the flow between the two polarities. And the polarities can be either a plus or a minus, or it could be up or down, whichever way that you want to look at it. But it's about understanding that once you're there on how to manage your emotions, but more importantly, when you're there, it's not to feel gloom and start to get into a state of despair or anything like that. But it's about flowing through gracefully. And when you're able to do that, you're able to create a nice, calm, vibrational set point within your soul. And that will allow you to then attract what you want to attract into your life, and also be able to glide through and flow through this state. So it brings about calm and peace within yourself and within your environment. Remember, there are no hard edges to the flow state. It's all about the rhythm. It's all about flowing in through this rhythm. It's very fluid, this flow state. And that's very key to remember, because you can be there 1 minute and you can also be there. We've all been in situations when we've been in our highs and lows throughout our life. And you might have had a recent situation where you've been in a low state. And once you're in that low state, and that could be affected by your hormonal state, through external factors, through people in your life who perhaps bring your energies down. And once you're there, it's about thinking, okay, how can I get from there back up there? And once you're in the high state, it's about being grateful, because it's important to remember that nothing lasts forever. This high state is not going to last forever, and neither is this low state. But it's about learning how to flow through it. Like, for example, the other day, I was having a little discussion with my daughter, and she can very quickly snap and get into a low state. And when she's in a low state, it affects her mood, it affects her behaviour, it affects how she treats me. And she becomes very reactionary. And when she's in that low state, it's about doing those mindfulness things. It's about doing your 5 senses. It's about becoming aware of your surroundings, putting your focus somewhere else. And when I do that with her, she's able to then gradually get herself out of that low state and then start to work her way back up. And there could be times when you find yourself in a low state, and that could be within the relationship that you're in. You might have had an argument with your partner. I can certainly relate to that. I had a disagreement with my husband last night, in fact, and it was about how to get out from that negative point of view, from that low state and back up. The key thing to understand that is that there's no beginning and there's no end. It's a continuous flow state. And it's also about our perception. For example, when you're in that flow state, how can we change our perception of that low energy, that low vibration, in order to turn it around so that we can start to feel good and we can start to feel better about ourselves and not feel so hopeless? Because it's important to remember that these times don't last forever. It's a part of life. We can't always be in the high state. or always have things which are looking up for us. There's times when we have to be low, and there's times when we are negative. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And we don't have to rush to be on the high state or in a high vibration. But it's about when we're in that low state, it's about thinking, okay, so this is how I'm feeling. My energy is low. My frequency is low. I'm feeling like this because of this person, or that person's triggered me, or this emotion has triggered me. But when you're in that low state, the key thing is about understanding and becoming aware, and knowing that it's okay to have these low emotions and low feelings. And it's about understanding that it doesn't last forever. When you look at it through the lens of awareness, consciously, you are then able to do things so that you can then ground yourself, whether that's by taking a walk, whether that's through reading, whether that's through dancing, whether that's through exercising, or spending some quality time with your family, or doing some window shopping if that's what you like to do. Whatever it is that will enable you to not get thrown out of it by blaming other people for your actions and for your behaviour, but by taking responsibility and understanding that when you're in that low state, there are lessons to be learned. Perhaps something keeps happening, perhaps something keeps reoccurring, and something keeps setting off your trigger points, because you still need to perhaps heal that part of you. Perhaps that's an element of you that you need to let go of. And the same can be applied when you're in the high state. You know, you could be in that high state, you suddenly become popular, you've come in through some money, and it's about understanding and not abusing that power. But when you're in that high state, you know, and looking at it from a graceful point of view, being grateful for those high points, because you know that nothing lasts forever. And that could be also the universe telling you to take it slow, that when you're in those high points, don't rush through those moments. Be grateful for those moments and really appreciate them, really value those high moments when you're in, because you will get to that point again and again and again. But it's understanding that internal balance, that vibrational balance. You can then apply that to other aspects of your life. And when you're able to tune into that frequency and vibration, whether you're in a low state or a high state, you can then start to attract that same vibration, that same frequency into your life. Things that match that vibration into your life. And you can start to manifest your intentions. But on the other hand, if you're not in alignment with your vibration within yourself, then you can get thrown out of this flow state, and you will keep attracting the negative stuff towards yourself. And that will then throw you into further despair and anger and bitterness. And you start to create a situation that you don't know how to handle, and you've lost control of that situation. So rather than flow through this fluid state, you start to bounce, and you can go from high to low, or from low to low, or anything like that. And once you're there, you start to blame other people for your negative state, for your negative energies. And you can tend to rely on others to pull you out of that state. And they can only do so much before you get that high and then suddenly you fall back down. Because it's to do with your internal thinking, your internal dialogue that you have with yourself. And remember, when you're in these low states, to not be bogged down by your anger or anything, but take it within your stride and really become aware consciously on how you can focus on raising that vibration. But at the same time, being grateful for those low moments as well, because the universe is telling you to take it slow. There are lessons to be learned. And when you appreciate the low moments, I mean, you can also appreciate the high moments.